guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to be doing my February reading wrap-up video. So if you watched my February-March TBR, you know that I was really getting started in the middle of the month because I'd been reading Keeper by Kim Chance, and it took me a while to get through it, not because there was anything wrong with the book, it was more just wrong with me. Like, I just wasn't finding the time to sit down and just really get into the book. But once I decided I need to finish this really quickly, and I gave myself almost like permission to make that a part of my day and to allow myself to really get sucked into the story, I really did enjoy it. So Keeper is the story of Lainey, who finds out that she is a witch, and her job basically is to guard the grimoire, I think is what they called it, which basically is like this book that has a lot of magic in it, and if the bad man comes and gets a hold of it, or he actually has it, but if he can unlock the power within it, a bunch of bad things will ensue. So it was a really good read. I enjoyed it. It is a young adult fiction novel. I will say there were parts of the book that I didn't completely love, and I think part of that is just really coming from the fact that I am a 33-year-old woman reading a book that is for young adults. So some of the language is a little too cute in my opinion, stuff like that. But again, that's coming from me as an adult with a very foul mouth. So, I mean, it's something that I'm not going to hold against the book, you know, or the author. If you've watched any of Kim's videos and you know that a lot of the like cutesy language that she uses, that's just her. That's part of her personality and her voice shining through the book, because not everybody likes to drop F-bombs every 3 seconds. As far as the actual novel goes, I think it was well written. I think the story was good. There were a couple of things that I felt were like could have been a little better, because of course I'm not going to say like this is the greatest book that was ever written. Did I enjoy it? Yes. Was it an easy read? When I actually allowed myself to sit down and just get through it, it was a very easy read. It was a cute story. I'm very, very excited for the sequel. When we get to like the very last section of the book, and I even touched on this in my vlog, I started crying. And that was like, okay, this is where the emotions really started coming in. This like last little final climax stretch, everything kind of came to a climax. And it ended up being a really good kind of ending, except for the fact that she did something that, had there not been a sequel, I would be sitting here giving a very different review and being very angry and pissed off. And so I'm very excited for Keeper to figure out, or for Seeker, so I can kind of conclude things and wrap it up, and I can get some answers to those questions. Because if this was the only book, I would be really mad. On a whole, I think that it was a very well written book. Not the greatest book I've ever read, but it was a good read. I would give this one, say, 3 out of 5 stars. Okay, now the second book that I read, this one is an interesting topic. So I received an art copy of a book, I want to say her name is Christy Whitson, and it was a book called Chance Encounters. It is a romance novel, and it was really cute. Like, the story, I really liked the story. Again, like with Keeper, it's not the greatest book I've ever read, not by any means, but it is a cute story. I liked the premise. It was a little bit different of a story, especially for a romance novel. So basically, like most romance novels, boy meets girl, boy and girl fall in love, they have steamy scenes, and there's some sort of like miscommunication, right? Only this one's a little different. It basically, God, I almost don't want to tell you what it's about because it was a little surprising for me, and I thought that's what I really liked. But basically, like, they meet. She gives him a fake name for various different reasons. I'm not going to spoil for you. And then sends Boy off on his own. Then she decides to become a surrogate, and Boy comes back into her life. So how is she going to have this relationship with Boy while she's carrying a baby for somebody else? It's a really interesting story, and I did enjoy it. Now, there were some steamy love scenes that I wasn't expecting, because again, I actually went into this novel like not knowing anything about it, which I thought was really fun. But I will say I'm not somebody that reads that kind of book very often, or really ever. I don't think I've ever read a book like that. I've read some like historical romance, but that was definitely like, this is a different, like, I'm not sure if it wasn't exactly erotica, but it wasn't like just regular romance. It's like somewhere in between, because there were some moments when things got a little heated up that it was a little jarring for me, because this isn't the kind of book that I'm reading. I mean, I'm not saying I'm rude, but there's certain language and certain things that I'd rather not read, especially when I'm not expecting it to. I'm not gonna say anything more on that, but let's just say it was a little jarring. But it's nothing with the author. Like, the people that would be going and reading this book are looking for that type of novel, and I feel like the author was trying to put that language and those scenes in the book to make it that type of a novel, when it didn't always fit in the story. But again, I'm not somebody that reads those types of novels on like the regular. I did enjoy the book, like the actual story and the premise and everything aside from that I felt was well written, and it was a really cute story. So this is one that I have a hard time rating. Like, if I were just going to compare it to some of the other books that I've read in my life, I'd probably give this like a 2-star. But when you're giving ratings, I feel like it's important to also take into account the type of genre, like where this fits in with the other books that it's like, and I have a hard time giving it such a low rating. So I would say 3 stars, 3 out of 5 stars, because it was well written, the premise was very different, and like those types of scenes are what people are looking for in this kind of a book. So yeah, 3 out of 5 stars. I think it's good. Okay, now the next book that I read was Harry Potter, because I have never read Harry Potter. I actually really enjoyed it. I really did. I actually read this one on Audible, and I sped it up, which I think really helped enhance like my enjoyment of the story, because the narrator was so animated, especially like he already had a great voice, he had an accent, and then when you speed it up, everything he says is so quick. So it really helped me get through the story quickly, and really like I feel like it helped amp up like the action and just the entertainment value of reading the book. It was just a good story, and I enjoyed it. Again, I'm trying to branch out a little bit more in like the types of books that I'm reading, because not everything I read is going to be like a classic or like a historical romance. I need to figure out something in between. So I decided to finally bite the bullet and read Harry Potter, and I'm glad that I did. Obviously most people that are watching this video have read Harry Potter, but if for some reason you haven't, it's about a little boy named Harry who finds out that he also has magical abilities, and then he's whisked away to go to school at Hogwarts, which is like a boarding school for magical beings. And he gets to meet friends who are witches and warlocks and all this stuff, and then he has to go on this little adventure, and the whole idea is that he has to like save everybody, right? Because Voldemort wants the Sorcerer's Stone, and it's a whole big thing. So it was a really good story. I really enjoyed it. I'm surprised that I liked it so much. It's not really anything that ever interested me, and honestly I didn't think I'd like it. Now, there is one part of the book that really kind of pissed me off, and that was at the very end, or like the last final like action scene. We're in the middle of all the action. It just stops. Action stops. He picks up a pair of glasses, and then we're being told like what happened for the rest of it. And that really bothered me and annoyed me, because I'm like, what the hell? Like, we're in the middle of it. We're in the thick of the action, and you're gonna stop it? So other than that, it was a good read. I'm excited to start the second one. So this one I will give 4 out of 5 stars. Those are the 3 books that I basically read in the last like 2 weeks of February. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, thank you so much for watching this video. So if you are new, you probably don't even know much about me. My name is Amara Franklin. I make videos about my writing journey, because I am in the process of writing my debut novel. And I also have recently started making videos about books, because as a writer, I like to read books too. And yeah, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Either go write or read a book, and I will catch you guys in the next one.